Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Intern Spotlight. I'm Amanda Shemsel, and I'm one of the science communication interns this year.
I'm Lexi, and I am one of the science communication interns this year as well. And we are joined today with Nicolas Hausner, who is an intern in the Geo-Launchpad program. Nicolas just graduated from the Community College of Denver and will be transferring to the University of Colorado Boulder this fall for his junior year. And this summer, he's working at New Mexico Tech studying critical minerals in New Mexico. And we are also joined with Nathan Wolski, who is a RESESS intern and a rising junior studying geology at the University of Illinois. And this summer he is also working at the New Mexico Tech in Socorro, and his project involves using ambient noise tomography to image Earth's crust in southeastern New Mexico. Thank you for joining us.
No, thank you for having us.
So just to dive right in, what first interested you in earth sciences? How did you decide to pursue this with your degrees, with your education?
Um, well, for me, my interest in geology comes from my grandfather and my grandparents. He was a geologist, and he would take my brother and I around rock hunting all the time, and so I learned a lot of rock and mineral identification when I was little, and I always uh, would end hikes with my pockets stuffed with as many rocks as I could take. And but he had a great rock collection, and every time I would visit, or he would come and visit us, which was pretty frequently, he would always bring me a rock or give me a new rock, and so I built up quite the collection from him with some pretty amazing rocks and minerals. And so when I graduated high school, I was thinking about college, but I was looking at all the programs there were, and none of them really stood out to me. And I was like, well, am I going to go to college if none of this appeals to me? But then I found the a geology program at a community college I lived by, and I was like, hey, that actually sounds really cool. That's the only program out of all the college programs that sounds interesting, and I really love it.
Awesome, yeah. And for me, it's kind of similar. As a kid, I just loved picking up rocks, and I had a drawer full of rocks at home. And I vividly remember when my family would go on road trips, especially through Kentucky. I'd just be glued to the window looking at these awesome road cuts and just wondering about the rocks there. But I mean, it wasn't until high school when it became time for me to think about what I was going to study in college that my mom reminded me that, oh, when you were a kid, you really, really liked rocks, and you should take a look at geology and see if that appeals to you. I had no idea what I wanted to do, so I checked that out, and it's history from there.
Yeah, it's really interesting that you both kind of knew from the jump that you're like geology is the thing. I know for myself when I was doing my bachelor's, like I wasn't studying geology originally, and it was later on I like took a couple geology classes and I was like, oh, this is where it's
That's for
at. So
me.
yeah, so I feel like I hear that story more often. It's cool that you guys just like knew what you were excited about and you decided to follow it.
What kind of a geologist was your grandfather?
Well, he didn't have a college degree, and he was just very specialized with rock and mineral identification, and he would go out rock hunting, and he would uh, one thing that he would do a lot is make jewelry out of rocks that either he found, or he would trade his rocks that he found for some higher quality minerals, and then he would make jewelry out of them, or he would make wind chimes out of agate, and so he was. It was pretty cool. We have our rock wind chimes hanging inside our apartment still.
That's beautiful. Um, how has it been transitioning, like soon to be transitioning into university from community college? How's that process looking like for you?
Uh, so it's going pretty well. I enjoyed community college, and I'm really looking forward to actually transferring to 4-year college this fall and really getting to learn geology because so far I've only taken 2 geology classes. And so my understanding of geology is pretty basic. So I'm asking a lot of questions while I'm here, and I'm really learning a lot. And this is definitely preparing me for 4-year college. And but I'm really looking forward to just really delving into it this fall. And yeah, the transfer process can be a little tricky sometimes, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh, and Nathan, so you're a rising junior, so you've been here in university for 2 years now. So how do you feel? Like it's been 2 years now you're doing research. How's that been for you? Kind of have you felt like you've zoomed into a part of geology that you like, or is it still kind of broad for you?
Well, I think as of right now, it's still pretty broad and up in the air. I've done some specialized coursework, like I've done SedStrat and structure and mineralogy. I definitely like structure the best. Shout out. So I think I'm really interested kind of in that area of study. Um, but most of my schooling has just been knocking out a bunch of gen eds in like math and sciences and other things like that, with some geology courses as well. But yeah, I hope to do some research at my institution next semester, whether it's through the university itself or through the state survey. The Illinois Geological Survey works pretty close with the university, so I'll see what opportunities present themselves there, and hopefully I can get a better read on what I would like to specialize in the future.
Very cool. I guess like following on from that, can you guys talk a bit about what you're doing this summer?
Oh yeah, yeah. So uh, this summer, for me, I'm working under Dr. Virginia McLemore, and I've joined her economic geology team. On my first week here, I started work on a Monday, and then the next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I went out doing field work in Southwest New Mexico. We stayed in a hotel for 2 nights, and we went out to the site, which is the Steeple Rock Mining District. We went out there 3 days in a row and spent lots of hours out there. And it was while we were out there that my uh, the details of my project were figured out. And so I'm gonna be comparing the mineralogy of these rocks from a few mines in the area, and then I'm gonna take that and compare it to some other mining districts in the area and get an idea of how uh, the mineralogy relates to critical minerals. And I'll be using the X-ray diffraction that I mentioned, and also an electron microprobe. And it sounds so crazy to say that. I wasn't expecting to be using the advanced equipment for my project, but uh, I'm the electron microprobe is brand new, and it sounds like it is like one of the most detailed ones that they've seen. So I'm really excited to learn about using that too and see what results I find. So this morning, unexpectedly, I got my rock samples and started grinding them up and turning them to powder and put them in the machine. And I already got all that data collected. And next week, someone else is going to help me analyze what it all means, and it's really exciting.
Yeah, that's super exciting, and I feel like these are a lot of instruments that even undergraduate students, typically, at least speaking for myself, only get to use once or twice throughout your degree, and never really like used like properly for research. So this is just great experience knowing how to use these instruments.
Yeah, just coming out of community college, and I'm learning all this already. It's it's really awesome.
That is so cool.
Yeah, really fun first steps. Like, we're only halfway through the summer. It sounds like you've already gotten a lot done.
Well, there's still a lot more to go.
Yeah, for me, I'm not gonna lie, Nicholas's stuff sounds a little cooler. I sit in front of a computer most of the day, and I look at waveform data and other things like that. So it's a lot of data analysis and programming, which at first was a little tricky for me. I didn't have much exposure to programming in the past, so it's been really nice this summer. I've been able to build up the skill set and get practice with that, and also just practice working with seismic data and stuff. And in the coming weeks, I'll be able to use the data I've been working on to hopefully make a really good image of the shallow crust in southeast New Mexico. So I'm excited for that.
That's really exciting. I would say that's much more similar to the stuff that I do. A lot of at my computer looking at waveforms all day. So
Yeah, it's
And
cool that you guys are getting such a head start on all these like really cool methodologies and techniques and tools, like really expanding your tool belt. And I think for both of you, do you think that you are interested in continuing at least this flavor of work you've been doing, or has it just been exciting to see what the possibilities are, and you're looking to see what else is out there?
Yeah, I would say I'm definitely interested in the geophysical avenue. It's been really interesting for me to learn the theory and stuff behind what I'm doing and also like employing that in practice. And specifically relating to ambient noise tomography, um, I think it's really cool how you can get a picture of the stuff you can't see. Because when I took sedimentology, it seemed like a lot of interpretation and not necessarily guessing, but educated guessing. With this, it feels more tangible to me, and I think it's really cool and exciting. And so far, I've really liked working with the seismic data and stuff too.
and uh, and for me, I came in not having a clear idea of my specific interests in geology. I know I really like geology, but uh, like I said, I've only taken two geology classes, just historical and physical geology, which they've introduced, a wide range of topics, but I haven't gotten to really look too deeply into any of them. And so I came into this internship with an open mind. I wasn't necessarily considering geophysics as a degree, uh, but then I ended up getting assigned to this economic geology project, where I'm actually not doing too much like with geophysics like Nathan. Uh, I'm just comparing the mineralogy with that equipment. So uh, I was a little surprised when I found out I was going to have an economic geology project, but it really is a lot of fun and I'm really enjoying it. And economic geology seems pretty cool, but at the same time, uh, I know that it's not like I'm going to be doing economic geology now. But this is just a great way to really learn about what there is, and I still have some time to figure out what my real interest is once I transfer to 4-year college. And this is just a great way to get started in developing my interests and realizing where I want to go.
that is so true. And I would even go as far as to say that even after a 4-year college program, you can also completely pivot after that. I can say the
Yeah.
stuff that I've been doing before my 4-year undergrad, during, and after, all three completely different things. And it's never
Wow.
too late to kind of, I mean, earth science, geology, geophysics is such a huge field that there's kind of like unlimited and avenues you can pursue.
Yeah,
That's
all of my degrees have been different projects. So
So pivoting a bit, in your free time, what do you guys do for fun? Not just, I guess, here in Socorro, but also generally in life?
Yeah, well, Nicholas and I have both been exploring the surrounding area together. We've been on some really cool hikes, and we've been rock hounding and stuff at an old mine and all that. It's been really fun just hiking around and exploring. Um, I guess outside of Socorro, I really enjoy rock climbing. Um, well, I guess I can do these in Socorro too, but reading. And I also really enjoy playing video games.
Yeah, and I do like having Nathan to here in Socorro with me so that we can go around and do things. We found some cool rocks. We found a good sized chunk of pyrite just uh, slightly buried in the ground, and it's just exciting to go out and find these cool rocks around here, and already, I was already interested in rock collecting. I've been doing that for a long time, so it's cool to get back in the practice of it again. That's something I would like to do more. Uh, and in general, though, I do enjoy hiking a lot. That's one thing I do a lot of hiking and just being outside.
And what do you think? I know we're not done with this summer, but what do you think is the most valuable thing that you've gotten so far, or what you're hoping to get in the few weeks we have left?
Um, for me, I think it's the programming knowledge I've gained because it's not just applicable to seismology. I can expand that onto other forms of data processing in the future, and I think it's just a really useful skill set to have as not just an earth scientist, but as a scientist in general. It's just so important to be able to process data, and I'm really happy that I'm becoming proficient in that.
I've learned a lot in the first what was this the first 4 weeks or 5 weeks. I've learned a lot so far. In the beginning of my project, wasn't too uh, I didn't have the clearest idea of what I was doing yet. We were still working out some of the details. So I just used that time to read up a lot on the geology of New Mexico and the geology of ore deposits because the Steeple Rock Mining District that I'm studying, it's all epithermal ore veins. So all the mining activity takes place on faults and fractures in the area, and the mineralization that has occurred is really interesting, and uh, it's a lot of fun to learn about. And in the next few weeks, I'm really hoping to learn like what it all means now that I'm starting to collect data on it, and figure out what the real mineralogy is and look at the composition. And I'm really looking forward to learning how to compare that to other places and like connect the dots of what the pattern is with all this mineralization.
Yeah, these are, I think, all really good skills that would be useful in any part of your career or path in the earth sciences. Like, these are all things that you could apply in your undergraduate degree or even most likely in a career afterwards.
Yeah,
Um,
that is something that I've been thinking about a lot. Is like I'm learning a lot of stuff that's going to be coming up in my classes soon. Been learning a lot about mineralogy. Just earlier today, when I used the X-ray diffraction, the professor who is in charge of the lab, he was teaching me about how it works and going over uh, some math formulas, but it all made sense, and it was nothing that was too difficult to understand, which is pretty crazy because it's like X-ray diffraction and it sounds a little intimidating, but you can actually get a good idea of what's going on and an intuitive sense of what's going on, and it's and it's I really feel like it's preparing me for my next few semesters.
yeah, that's awesome. Is there anything else you guys would like to add that you feel like the interview would not be complete without?
Yeah, so I would like to add that uh, some of the projects, talking to other interns, it sounds like some of the projects are more structured from the beginning. The way it is for me has been a little bit self-directed. Uh, I of course need a lot of guidance and support, but I do have that with my mentor and my fellow graduate students, and so it's been somewhat self-directed, and I actually really like that. I like the independence, and my mentor asked me to draft up a project proposal the other week and to throw in a schedule. And this was just after a meeting we had had where we figured out the rest of the details about my project. And so I was able to move forward and draft up a whole schedule of the rest of my time here, and sort of say like when I wanted to accomplish certain things. And I think it works really well for me, and it would work well for some other people. But I also, other people with their how some people have their projects a little more outlined from the beginning. That's something else that I think is important. So I would say too that if you are like working more on your own towards some of your project goals, it's good to have a clearer idea of them earlier on.
That's good advice.
Well, thank you both for taking some time to sit down with us and tell us what you've got going on this summer. And we look forward to seeing you all again for our next intern spotlight.
Thank
All
you for
right.
having
Yeah,
us.
thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.